Infinitives unleashed. Obligation and necessity in English grammar. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another exciting lesson on English grammar. Today, we are going to delve deeper into the fascinating world of infinitives. Specifically, we will be examining verbs of obligation and necessity, and how they are often followed by infinitives. This concept might seem a bit complex, but don't worry. By the end of this video, you should have a clear understanding of it. Let's dive in. Before we move on to verbs of obligation and necessity, let's revisit the concept of infinitives. In English, an infinitive is the base form of a verb, usually preceded by the word to, like, to eat, to read, or to play. These infinitives can function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs in a sentence. But today, we are specifically interested in how they pair with certain verbs to express obligation or necessity. Now, let's explore what verbs of obligation and necessity are. These verbs express that something is required, necessary, or obligatory. Some common examples include have, need, and ought. When we use these verbs, they are often followed by infinitives, creating phrases like have to study, need to go, or ought to listen. Now that we understand the concept, let's look at some examples of how we use these verbs of obligation and necessity followed by infinitives. 1. Have to. This is used when we're talking about obligations or necessities. For example, I have to finish my homework before dinner. 2. Need to. This is used when there is a necessity or requirement. For example, we need to buy some milk. 3. Ought to. This is used to give advice or make recommendations. For example, you ought to take an umbrella. It might rain. Understanding the theory is essential, but practice is what truly helps us learn. Try to make your own sentences using these verbs of obligation and necessity followed by infinitives. Write them down, say them aloud, and practice until you feel comfortable with this concept. That brings us to the end of our lesson on verbs of obligation and necessity followed by infinitives. Remember, mastering English, or any language for that matter, takes time and practice. So, keep practicing, stay curious, and continue learning. We hope this video has been helpful. Until next time, happy learning!